Hello everyone, and welcome to another Microsoft Reactor session. It's amazing to be here with you all again. I've always loved to be on these sessions, and I always love to be in them. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from whichever part of the world you are currently joining us from. While on this stream, we need to take note of Microsoft Reactor's code of conduct. Please ensure that you are aware of others, that you are friendly and patient, that you are welcoming and respectful, understanding of the differences of others, and don't forget to be kind and considerate. We want every single person who will be joining this live stream today to have fun, to learn how they can kick off an amazing career in technology. And if there are others that are not here to this stream, probably they forgot, be sure to reach out to them and let them know that this specific session has started. Just before we dive in proper into the session, we're going to have a 30 seconds intro video and then we'll get started. See you all after the video. Welcome back again. This is an amazing session of the series MLSA Coffee and Tea Chart. MLSA stands for Microsoft Led Student Ambassadors, and currently for this session, I'm putting on the Microsoft Led Student Ambassadors Tea, and I hope you can see the Microsoft Led Student Ambassador logo. It looks really, really cool. In this series, it was an idea by Microsoft Led Student Ambassadors because they wanted to help you all currently joining the stream to learn about how you can start off your career in technology. They decided to come up with 5 different career paths, how you start off your career as a data analyst, as a cloud advocate like myself, as a data scientist, as a local developer, or as a product designer. This is currently the first session in this series, and it's been amazing for all of the past sessions that we have had. The way this series goes is we have either one or more persons who are experienced in these different career paths come to the session and tell us how they started off their career and how it has been for them, but most importantly, how you who would love to be part of their career can get started in your journey. And like every other session in this series, this session is going to be fun because we're going to dive into the low code development space. Lots of questions people have asked related to low code development. What makes it different from traditional programming? How can I get started with low code development? All of these questions would be answered today. I'm not alone. I have 3 amazing persons who are here with me. They come from diverse backgrounds. First off, I have Victoria, who is a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Victoria is a great friend of mine. She gets to work with Microsoft Power Platform. She really loves Microsoft Power Platform, by the way, and has built amazing solutions with Microsoft Power Platform. Besides that, she gets to help women like her who want to start their career in technology to grow and become amazing tech people like this. Thank you very much, Victoria, for being part of this series. Next up, I have a very good friend of mine, Sumelizi, who is a cloud advocate based off South Africa. All right from Sumelizi's young time. He's actually young, yes. So from while Sumelizi was very young, while we're in the Microsoft Led Student Ambassadors program, he has always been really excited about helping people to learn about technology, hosting different programs, activities, and engagement on our platform. And it's great to have him on this session. And last up is Shedrack, who is also a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Shedrack was also a Microsoft-led student ambassador and has had the opportunity to use Microsoft's Power Platform to grow amazing communities in Ghana. Shedrack is really excited and loves helping people to learn and collaborate with technology. Without wasting so much time, I would love to bring these amazing guests on board. They have been on the stream and are really excited to come talk to you all about these technologies. So first off, I have Sumilizi. Hi, Sumilizi. I have Shedrack and I have Victoria. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Great. So just before we get started, let's go around. And I wanted to ask you all, how excited are you to be on this specific stream? Maybe we can start from Sumilizi since it was the first to come up.
Thanks, Jefflet. Being on the stream actually is really exciting. And I think I've actually mentioned this to Jefflet and Shedrick and Victoria, that it's really great to be part of the stream with people that I've actually worked with in the past. We actually did a Power Platform bootcamp together where Shedrick and Victoria were speakers during the bootcamp here in the version of the bootcamp in Durban, South Africa. So I'm really excited to share all of our learnings, all of us, as Power Platform advocates, low code, no code people who've actually been working with this technology and just building solutions.
Great. And like I mentioned the last time, Simility, it's great to bring you all together again to talk about all of the people on the stream about Microsoft's Power Platform. Victoria, how excited are you?
Oh, I'm very excited actually, and I can't wait to dish out some of the things that I know and to also encourage people to start their journey in tech.
Great. I can't wait to. Shadrach, what about you?
I'm super excited, and then looking at the future of where tech is going now. This feels great to be here also to share my experience with the community as well. I love just sharing my experience, so I'm excited to be here to share what I've learned and what I'm doing so far.
Great. Thank you very much for being here, all our amazing guests. And I can see some amazing people in the chat section who are joining us. We have Oluwatobi Paul, who is joining us from Lagos, Nigeria, and um, Sohail, who is joining us. Sohail didn't mention where he's joining us from, but be sure to tell us where you are joining us from. And behind the scene, we have Nehemiah Emmanuel, who is a Microsoft-led student ambassador in Nigeria. Thank you again for joining Nehemiah and for supporting us in the chat section. Great. So let's dive in so we don't keep people up for too long. So our first question is for Sobilizi, and the question is, what is local development and how does it differ from traditional coding?
That is actually a great question, Jefflet. I'm gonna do my best here to actually answer this question, and mostly it's more on based off of my experience around local development. And I may be a little bit biased because obviously I've been working with the Power Platform for the past don't know how many years. So local development ideally is more focused around you building solutions to boost your productivity and using local tools like the Power Platform. So in this case, if you do not necessarily have a traditional technical background, and like for an example, you don't have programming language experience like C Sharp, Java, and all of those things, but you still want to build solutions to boost productivity either for yourself or for your organization or for your company and all of those things, then that's where low code development actually comes into play, where you build solutions without writing any code. And that's the major difference, is that you don't necessarily need to know how to code to build the solutions using low code development. Whereas with traditional coding, you have to have some little bit of knowledge around C sharp, for an example, or Java to actually build the solutions that you want to use. And what I normally say to a lot of people who are starting out with low code development is that with low code, you are able to build your solutions much more rapidly than you would when you are traditionally developing your solutions. So that means that you can easily or quickly roll out all of the solutions that you are building using tools like the Power Platform, so that you can be able to build those solutions and actually roll them out to your customers or your users in that specific sense. I hope that actually answers your question, Jefflet.
Yes, that was really, really amazing. Thank you very much for telling us about local development. I'm sure that's what gets a lot of people really excited about low code. Our next question is for Victoria. Victoria has been programming with low code for quite some time now. And I really wanted to ask Victoria, why do you prefer low code development?
All right. So if you heard Shadrach, you would have heard him say, yeah, low code increases productivity. So yes, I'm just going to be giving us about 4 points why I prefer low code. First is it would increase your productivity. Local development platforms already have built-in components, they have templates that you'll probably have to drag and drop. And with this, you would be able to create applications quickly. It would reduce the time and effort required to code from scratch. Note, we're not ruling out traditional development or core development, no. But this would increase productivity. Another point I'm going to give is it's bridge the gap. That's the IT skills gap. We know that the demand for developers has increased, and sometimes or oftentimes it surpasses the supply that we have. Local development platforms offer solutions that would enable professionals from different backgrounds. They don't necessarily have to come from an IT background. It will enable them build solutions without extensive coding knowledge. Yes, and another point I'm going to give is this. It would low code development has empowered citizen developers. Some people might be wondering, who are citizen developers? They are developers that build solutions using low code platforms. And local development platforms has enabled non-technical people, we call them citizen developers, to participate in application development. So we don't necessarily have to wait for the core developers to do that. And this platform, that's the no-code platform, has allowed us to create and customize solutions according to how we want it. The last point I'll be given is it is flexible and agile. Yes, for low-code development, we have the flexibility to do quick iterations and modifications in real time. This would also enable quick development and increase productivity. Overall, local development provides a simplified way to build applications, and this can be used by both technical and non-technical people. Thank you.
Great. I see the reason why you decided to be a local developer, Victoria. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank
And I
you.
hope everybody who joins this stream too, hopefully wants to become a local developer like you.
I hope so
Our
too.
next, yeah, our next question is for Shedrack. And we wanted to ask Shedrack, what really inspired you to go into low code instead of traditional coding? We'd also ask Victoria this question, but let's start off first with Shedrack.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jafferly, for the opportunity once again. Almost everything Victoria said relates to this question again. The reason why I got inspired into to go into this local development was all based on its rapid prototyping. You know, you have a quick way of developing something quickly to show your your clients that this is how this is going to look like, or this is going to work. And then she mentioned a lot, but what I'm interested in more, or what pushed me more, was the flexibility in it, where you have this platform. It has this platform where you can have this drag and drop um, options. You are able to see what you are building, right? You are able to move this here, move this there. You are able to just use simple programming languages to just make something work, right? So this flexibility and the speed in it, because of how flexibility it is, it's always um efficient, okay, for you in developing in that particular platform. And it makes it very easy for you to build, and it makes it very quick for you to build something. So you can almost, sometimes I even spend just less than a month to get an application ready. So you can imagine. And this helps in productivity, right? So we don't have to waste more than a whole 3 years, 4 years, or probably 1 year to get an application ready. But within a month, or in less than a month, we are having an application ready to run whatever we need, and then increase productivity. I mean, we are at the end, we are going to achieve what we want to achieve. At the end, we are going to get what we want. So this was something that, inspired me a lot, and I was like, wow, if I can get something done in less than some few days, or in less than a month, and then it will still help in promoting productivity, or it will still help push productivity, then why not I get into something like this? When I saw it for the first time, I felt like, yes, this is the way forward. It's taking over now. Local development is taking over. Maybe some will say it's not taking over. I mean, it's always debatable. But then, what I want, I'm achieving it, right? I'm achieving what I want. So, I feel like, yeah, it's cool. And whatever I want to achieve, I'm still achieving. So, it's still okay to move with it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I actually can relate to it because usually takes a long time really to create all of this. Very, very, very long time. But with local development, pretty easy to get it done. Thanks for sharing that. Let's hear from Victoria. Victoria, for you, what was the inspiration to go into local development instead of traditional programming methods?
All right. So for me, it's an accessibility thing. I'm someone that have a degree in finance, so I don't have an IT background. And local development actually gave me the opportunity to build what I actually want to build. So I didn't have to wait for that long period of time to acquire a core or a traditional development knowledge. I just needed to know what I want to do and make use of the low code development platforms that were readily available. So it was accessible to non-technical users. And the next point I would say is the rapid application development. Yeah, it was earlier mentioned by Shedrack, but the fact that I can build applications in a very short period of time compared to a core developer or a traditional developer, yes, that was one of the things that inspired me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Victoria. I know in recent times, for people who are not computer science students or who don't want to code, they feel like they can't really build technology solutions and they feel bad. But here we have local development tools. They can do all of the things they have, blow up solutions, create amazing solutions that can solve real world solutions. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with that. And I really hope that right now you're able to build amazing finance solutions with the knowledge of finance you have, right?
Yes,
Great.
absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much, Victoria. Now, for a lot of people, there is this kind of a war. I would not say a literal war, but people who are traditional developers who write programming languages feel like they are kind of better off than those who are local developers. It happens a couple of times. It's something we've heard. And so people feel like they actually really need to learn traditional programming. But I really wanted to ask Sumilisi, for you, Sumilisi, how can myself and every other person currently on this stream collaborate with those who are traditional developers or traditional development teams, even though I am a local developer?
Glad that you actually mentioned that, Jefflet. So I can actually relate to the friction around being a traditional developer and a local developer, mainly for the reason because that during my university as a student, I actually did an IT related course, a computer science related course, where I learned everything .NET and C Sharp. So when I started tapping into this Power Platform space, I was asking myself a lot of questions and in terms of will this really help me or does this undo everything that I've actually learned? So I then obviously chose to carry on learning about the Power Platform and actually building solutions with it. And from there, I learned quite a few things there. So in terms of collaboration between traditional developers and local developers, there is a huge opportunity for both parties really in terms of when you want to collaborate with a traditional developer as a local developer or just like Victoria mentioned as a citizen developer, you would then ideally work on, for an example, the Power Platform. You would work on the Power Platform as a citizen developer and actually have the opportunity to build your custom connectors, for an example. So a custom connector within the Power Platform space is when you are looking at all of the connectors that you have within Power Platform and you see that they don't necessarily meet the requirements or you are unable to reach your data that is stored in a specific place and it's not part of the Power Platform connectors. That is the opportunity where you can build your own custom connector to actually speak to that data. But now the opportunity or the challenge comes as a local developer where now you have to build an API that actually communicates with your data source or your database where your data is stored. That's where the opportunity presents itself for you as a local developer to actually collaborate with a traditional developer because traditional developers know how to build APIs from scratch. And in that case, you can be able to work closely with that traditional developer to build your API to actually communicate with your backend or your database. And then you can transform that API and actually make it into a custom connector within the Power Platform so that you can be able to utilize and consume it within your Power Platform solution. And it's actually the same for traditional developers going to collaborate with local developers in a case where they come into the Power Platform space, they build their own solutions, and a local developer already knows the inner workings of the Power Platform, so they will be learning from the local developers. But as a traditional developer, you can use local tools like the Power Platform to actually extend all of the solutions that you're actually building using your traditional developer skills. So as much as there's big conflict and big friction between local developers and traditional developers, there are opportunities to actually collaborate and there are opportunities to actually take best positive advantage of those tools so that you can be able to build the best solutions possible. So I hope that actually irons out and clears out any friction that traditional developers have with local developers, most especially within the Power Platform space. There's opportunities for everyone.
Great. Thank you very much. This sounded really, really, really explanatory. Thank you for walking us through how local developers and traditional developers, of those who write code, can actually work together. So while you're still here, I wanted to pick a question from Sohail that actually caught my attention. Again, if you have any questions, please include them in the comment section and we would be sure to respond to all of them. But I wanted us to really talk about this question. So Sohail is asking, what is local development? Can you please, Someleze, talk a little bit about what local development is so Sohail understands?
Great. That is a great question, Sahel. So, what I can actually say to you about local development is You have tools like the Power Platform. So if you haven't heard of the Power Platform, I urge you to actually go on Microsoft Learn, search for the Power Platform, and you'll be able to find resources around it. But with low code development, what you have as an opportunity for you is to actually build solutions more rapidly, meaning you can build solutions faster. So, for an example, I'll give you an example around Power Apps. If you use Power Apps, you can actually build your own applications, mobile application, desktop applications, and web applications using Power Apps, and you can build them without having to write any code. So Shadrach and Victoria had actually mentioned that you drag and drop your components or your controls that you would need on the screen, for an example, in Power Apps for whatever mobile application you're building. Then that's when you are able to utilize the skills of building a solution without having to write code or with using a little bit of code. So in the Power Platform space, when we say using a little bit of code, this is where you try to add in your logic for your solution. So in the form of a Power FX formula. Power FX formulas are formulas that are similar to the Excel formulas that you would write for your Excel spreadsheet to format or manipulate your data on your Excel spreadsheet or based off of two columns. So within Power Apps, you are able to use the Power FX formula just in, I could say, your natural language instructions. So, for an example, if you want to patch information back to your data source, you would write the word patch, which is a function within Power Apps. You say patch and then you specify your data source, and then you just point it to the right columns within your data source without having to write and have an extensive, intense knowledge of either C sharp, Java, Python, or .NET. All of those things, this is where low code development actually comes into play. You don't have to write extensive code. You just need to drag and drop whatever controls you would need for your solution to meet your requirements. But ideally, once you want to actually expand on that solution, obviously you would need to add in more functionalities and complexities with working with a traditional developer. And when you are a traditional developer working with the Power Platform, that's a plus one for you because you are able to extend that solution by yourself.
Great. Thank you very much, Similizi. So Hugh, think of it like building an application, a full application to a specific solution without having to write code, without having to program. You just drag your items and drop them, or you just break them down into smaller parts and start developing them. It's actually cool. And at the end, we're going to share resources that would help you out to get started if you're interested in local development. Great. So thank you very much, Subilizi, for explaining that. Thank you very much to him for asking that question. Now, for our next question, we wanted to talk a little bit about Microsoft's Power Platform, which Subilizi mentioned. Microsoft Power Platform, for those who are just joining the stream, is Microsoft's low code development tool. And Victoria and every other person who has speakers has been building solutions with Microsoft's Power Platform. So I wanted to ask Victoria, why do you prefer Microsoft's Power Platform to other local development tools and platforms?
All right. So for me, while I was starting, I observed that Microsoft has a very strong community. Yes, and I mean it, community and support. Microsoft has a large and active community of users and developers, and these people share resources, knowledge, best practices. There's Microsoft Learn. These resources made it easy to start. So that's one of the reasons why I prefer the Microsoft Power Platform. I've not ventured into, I know there are other local developments, there's out systems, there are others, but I've not ventured into them. I do the Microsoft Power Platform. And another reason why I would say I prefer the Microsoft Power Platform is because there is easy integration with other Microsoft platforms. There's the Microsoft ecosystem in general, and you can integrate with the Microsoft ecosystem. We have the Microsoft Office 365. That's other Microsoft product and services. There's the Microsoft Office 365, there's Azure, there's Dynamics. You can easily integrate, yes, and get things done easier and faster. So the integration with Microsoft ecosystem and the fact that we have a very strong community and support is the reason why I prefer the Microsoft Power Platform. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Victoria. And I hope at this point you're really enjoying being part of Microsoft's ecosystem and building with Microsoft Power Platform, right?
Absolutely.
Great. Great. So with the recent AI revolution, Open AI and lots of AI tools coming on board, there are definitely advancements with local development tools. There are things that change, there are new things that come up, there are new amazing features. A lot of times it's really difficult to keep track, right? The starting of a career in Power Platform, for example, and by next week or 2 months, just before you have learned a whole lot, something new comes up. How do you go on with it? I really wanted to ask our guests, and I specifically had this question for Shedrack. So, Shedrack, for you, I would love to ask, how can someone like me, like every other person on this call, stay updated with the latest trends and advancements in the local development space?
All right. Um, I hope we are allowed to just go straight and talk about the Microsoft Power Platform, right? Yeah. So I hope that's cool, right?
Yeah, sure. Dive
Awesome.
in.
Awesome. Awesome. One thing I really love about that particular low code platform is that that's the Microsoft um, low code platform is that the community there alone, I mean, it's amazing. The community is really amazing. So you looking forward to upgrading your skills in Power Platform. Let's say you are interested in in learning the low code development. That's the Microsoft Power Platform low code development. You are interested, or you've loved to build something awesome with it. Fine, that's okay. The community alone, it's really amazing. I can tell you one thing: it's the community that built me. Yes, it's the community that made me who I am today. I can tell you that for sure, and I can prove to that. Okay, so I attended an event which I will also advise you as well. So join the communities. That's the Power Platform user groups in your community. That's where I realize what I can do. That's what I gain what I want to do. So I joined a Power Platform community in the year 2020. Then I was introduced. Then Samuel Adrain, who is an MVP for both AI and then I think, yeah, AI, and then I think he has two MVP actually. There is one of the first MVPs to get the two MVPs, and then they were introducing. They were talking about Power Platform. That was my first time in 2020. Yeah, that was my first time, and that was when I also became a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. So you realize joining the student ambassador whilst you're a student is also one of the huge opportunity for you to also explore. Then also joining the community, which is the Power Platform user group, is also one of the opportunity for you to explore or learn about the Power Platform. Okay, so I joined the community for the first time. I attended an event which was the Global Power Platform Bootcamp in 2020 in February. I can remember very well. I was introduced. I saw people building. One guy came to introduce the application in Power Apps. I was sitting down and I was like, wow. So this is very simple and it looks really good. I mean, he built something around. He built something around, I think, restaurants. Something around restaurant reservation and other stuff, and it was really awesome. So I from there, they just took us through how to build our first application, and I got home. Then I took it serious. I just started building on it. Then I realized that the community alone on Twitter, on LinkedIn, was really massive. Like everybody was really active. From Microsoft to users are all active on the platform. Just use hashtag Power Platform, Power Apps. Just you realize they were all popping up just like that. I mean, you create something, you post online, then you see them coming. Oh wow, this is awesome! Like they are really loving. They are always ready. Some even reach out to me, telling me they want to mentor me. Some like I mean, it's really awesome. Meeting the Microsoft employees who are in the Power Platform environment are really awesome. They were able to assist. So I would love you to join community. I would love you to follow whoever is in Power Platform MVPs. They are all over on Twitter. Just search for them on LinkedIn. Just search for them, and they are always loving to help you. Search for communities. Like join the Microsoft Power Platform community or Microsoft Power Apps community is also available. Also the Learn platform. I'm sure after the event, Jaflet to share the links for the Learn platform where you can go and start beginning, or you can learn about the Power Platform. You can join Microsoft event free also, where you also be taking, you have access to get certifications, free certifications actually. You don't need to pay for it after attending this Power Platform event. I'll gather some of the links as well. Jaflet will also share some of the links also with the community as well after the event, I'm sure. So all these are really awesome, and I mean, you can't compare this to any other Power Platform, right? I mean, any other low code platform, right? Because the reception on the Power Platform alone is really awesome, and you can realize most companies are using Office 365 as the pandemic hit. I'm not lying about this. A lot of companies are using it, and this is an opportunity for all of us to move into the Power Platform. I mean, work with the companies that we are already working with. I started developing with the company I work with. They didn't ask me to develop anything in Power Platform for them, but I started developing to solve little processes within the company with Power Platform, right? Because we have 365 lying down and nobody is touching it. I mean, all we are using is just to be sending emails and other stuff, right? So a lot of companies are now using the Power Platform. So it's really an advantage for all of us to hop on it. And let's get in touch with communities as well, with experts, with MVPs. They are on Twitter, they are on LinkedIn, across all social media. The Microsoft employees are so lovely. Jaflet himself can attest to that because he's also enjoying it as well. And currently, he's a Microsoft employee, and he's currently also, I mean, loving the student as well. He's spreading the love as well. Just like now, he's spreading the love as well. So our platform is really awesome. I will urge you guys all to take it. I mean, and join the community. Yep.
Great. Thank you very much, Shadrach. So, key things from Shadrach helped him stay updated is he utilized community. He reached out to people who are power those who are Microsoft MVPs, Microsoft employees, and the community, and he utilized them to stay updated. We'll be talking a whole lot about Microsoft's Power Platform, and you might want to really try out this tool. So I wanted to ask Sumilezi, for someone who wants to get started with local development, how can they get started? What would they advise? What steps would they advise they go through to become an amazing local developer like yourself and all those on the call?
Again, that's a great question. I'll do my best to answer it. So when it comes to local development, I think ideally I could actually just advise um, any aspiring developer there. So just take note that I didn't say local developer, but any aspiring developer out there to actually follow similar steps to what I'm about to speak about. So, firstly, how to get started with low code, no code. In this case, let's talk about the Power Platform. So, how you can be able to get started with the Power Platform is you can go to Microsoft Learn, and like I mentioned earlier on Microsoft Learn, you can search for the Microsoft Power Platform, and you'll have free resources available to you to actually consume, and you can go through them and start building solutions and getting an idea of what the Power Platform is really about. And then, if you want to boil it down into a specific technology or product within the Power Platform, because the Power Platform has five products, which is Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, Power BI, and Power Pages for different use case scenarios. If you want to focus on a specific one of those, let's say mobile development with low code, you would then try to focus on Power Apps. But I will say this to you, almost all of these products are actually intertwined and connected when you are looking at the resources there and you are able to build the solutions. So, your first step is to go to Microsoft Learn, get started with the Power Platform by just searching on Microsoft Learn and finding those resources. The second step of that is to actually be part of a community, just like Shadrach had mentioned. Be part of a community and actually get your ear on the ground around what's happening with the Power Platform. And we have AI within the Power Platform right now, which enhances how you can be able to build solutions with the Power Platform already. So be part of a community and actually participate in community engagement events. For an example, if you're part of that community, you are able to understand how other well seasoned local developers are using the Power Platform or any other local tool out there to actually build solutions and take inspiration from that so that you can apply it to yourself. And this is where step three comes in. Your step three is to actually dive in deep to build projects that are either related to a specific challenge that you're facing currently, whether it's just a simple trivial challenge around you want to send yourself daily affirmations using a message almost every day. You can use Power Automate to just have a scheduled workflow that will just constantly send you emails each and every single day based off of whatever daily affirmations that you actually have set for yourself. And then you can take it to the next step where you are building real world solutions to real world problems, whether you're solving a problem on healthcare, whether you're solving a problem within finance, just like Victoria. But I'm not saying go crazy with those solutions. You can start small, build a solution for finance, for an example. It could be an expense tracker app for yourself. Take that, build it, understand how you actually built it using the Power Platform or whichever low code tool that you're using, and then build another solution again. Because as you build all of those projects, that is when you are actually gaining the experience of building the solutions with low code tools and you're becoming well seasoned. And then the next step for you, which is step four within this process, is to actually share your learning journey. Share everything that you're building with the Power Platform or with whichever local tool that you're using. So when I say share, this is where you build your project. Now you're documenting it. When you're documenting it, you either write a blog about it or an article on LinkedIn. If you're LinkedIn, you have a LinkedIn profile. You do a short YouTube video that showcases how your solution works. You do a longer format video where you are able to go through the step of rebuilding the solution live to everyone. Even if you're not necessarily someone who likes to be in front of a camera, then you can just write a blog, just like I mentioned, and just take everyone on a step by step process of building that solution. Or in that case, you will then put it up on GitHub. So make sure you have a GitHub account. So that's for every developer out there. Make sure you have a GitHub account, upload your solution there so that you can be able to point whoever is reading your blog, whoever is watching your YouTube video, you point them to that GitHub repository, you point them to the project so that they can be able to download it, then they can get started with their solution. That way you are able to build your entire portfolio around the solutions that you're building through your learning journey. So you're doing this while learning. And then step five is actually being part of that community. Right now you are actually giving back to your community, and when you give back to your community, you are doing speaking engagements with that within that community. If it's a user group, for an example, if it's a Power Platform user group, you sign up to actually be part of that community where you are speaking about the solution that you built, you sharing it, and then this is where all of the other steps actually come into play. You're doing this speaking engagement during the user group community call, for an example. And then when people are asking for resources around your project or your solution, you just take the link to the GitHub repository, you send it to them. You take the link to your blog that you write or article you wrote on LinkedIn, you send it to them so that they can get started with building your solution. And last but not least is to actually sign up to speak at what we have as the Sharing is Caring community, where you are able to share all of the Power Platform solutions that you actually have built, and you can be able to demo them to a wide variety of people within that community so that you can be able to showcase the work that you've done, because the most important part in your learning journey is to showcase what you have built, showcase your learning journey, because sometimes it's not necessarily a good thing to learn and build stuff and just shelve them without showcasing it to someone. You don't know, someone out there might want to either give you an opportunity based off of what you built. Just like Shadrach had mentioned, he started off small by building a small solution within his company without having to build a big solution. It's the same with communities. You just showcase what you've built, and then you could have a potential opportunity from that community, whether it's an employer who's part of that community, and say, "Oh, I liked your solution. Can you come work for us? Or can you come do a part-time job for us by building these different kinds of solutions?" That's where you actually get all of these different kinds of um, opportunities to actually become the best version of yourself and the best version of you as a local developer. So those are my 5 steps, which are: first one, go to Microsoft learn about the Power Platform or whatever opportunity or technology you want to learn about. Secondly, what you need to do then now is to start building solutions, starting small and all of those things. And then step three is to actually start documenting them, whether you put them on LinkedIn, GitHub, or YouTube. And then the next one is to actually be part of a community so that you can be able to see what other people are building. And then step five, become a person who is doing speaking engagements as part of a community or as part of a user group based off of whatever technology that you are is aspiring to be or you are very much interested in.
That was so amazing. So I took note of the 5 points you mentioned, but I just wanted to record them again, so I could also share with everyone those who missed it. I actually missed two of them, so please let me know what they are. So first, I should go to Microsoft Learn. I should practice and build solutions, and then I should document my solutions. I know the last piece was the community piece. I skipped the fourth. Please can you help want to take some easy?
Yeah, they are both of them are community pieces. So the last two are community pieces. You can either put them together or you can split them apart based off of your journey. So I said step four is more of you being part of the community and seeing what other people are building and just taking notes and learning from them and asking questions at that within that community. And then your step five is where you are signing up and you are actually getting out of your comfort zone and you're signing up to actually be a speaker at a community call so that you can be able to showcase what you have built from step three, two, and one. So you're showcasing everything that you've actually learned, you're showcasing everything that you've documented based off of your learning journey, and you're showcasing it to everyone else within that community. So you can either combine those two or you can split them up.
Beautiful, beautiful. So don't worry, everyone. I actually had this point out, and I'm going to share them with you all just in case you missed it. Thank you very much, Someleze. Now, while going through Victoria's profile, I realized that she has written loads of Microsoft certifications. And it's so cool because a lot of times for a couple of people, they actually don't pass these certification exams the first time they try it out, right? I wanted to ask Victoria, how do you do it before we dive into the question I had for you? How are you able to get all of these certification exams? What helped you to prepare for these exams?
All right. So for me, certification exams, they were not all written in a day and they were not all written in a year. So I had to take it bit by bit, step by step. The examinations are actually in categories. So there's fundamental, after fundamental, they are actually in levels. So I had to start with fundamentals. And to prepare, there's Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn has a tailored curriculum for each of the certifications I've written. So you have to go over the course outline and every course resources for that certification. And one thing I would like to mention is the examination is not about theory. No, it is actually mainly real life scenarios. So if you're to build an application, you want to do this, what is the best route? And so acquiring all the knowledge without practicing wouldn't help. So another thing that helped me was the hands-on session I usually have, or the applications I built. I was able to apply that knowledge in answering the questions during the examination.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing all of those tips, and I'm sure it will be useful to everybody that's currently on this stream. Now, back to the question we had for you. Are there any certifications or courses that can enhance my local development career for myself and for any other person who's currently on this stream and really wants to dive into local development?
So to answer the question, yes, there are certifications and courses that would enhance low code development career. And since we're talking about Microsoft, yeah, so there's Microsoft Learn, and Microsoft Learn has curriculum and has answers to every question you might have with respect to certification. For the Microsoft Power Platform, we have certification courses tailored towards Power Apps. That's the so there's a fundamental, the Microsoft Power Platform fundamental. We have the Microsoft Power Platform app maker. There's the Microsoft's Power Platform functional consultants, like that. And those examinations, okay, they're not prerequisites, yeah, but they're actually in levels. I wouldn't say you should leave fundamentals and write the examination for a developer. So you have to start from the base. And Microsoft Learn has courses outlined tailored towards each of the certifications. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing those with us. So I just pasted in the comment and right again, Jaya has also shared some more tips, relations to how you can write your certification exams. Thank you so much, Victoria, for sharing all of these tips. Thank you so much to all of our amazing speakers. I really want to appreciate all of them for taking out time out of their busy schedule to be part of this live session. So actually, just in case you have in the comment section, you can see the specific tips some Lizzie shared. I just shared them. So be sure to go through them and learn more about them. If you love to learn more about technology, be sure to check out the link that is currently being displayed in the screen, aka.ms/tech in 2023. It contains amazing resources, not just for local development, not just for Microsoft Power Platform, but for the different careers that we have worked through in this entire series. You get to learn about how you can have an amazing career in data science as a data analyst and for the different career paths that you want to try out in technology. This session is has been amazing, but want to learn from you what you feel about this specific session and some of the things you would love to see in subsequent sessions. So please be sure to utilize the link that is currently being displayed on the screen, aka.ms/reactor/survey. Take note of the event code 265 how this session has been, and any other thing you would love love to see in this session. Microsoft Reactor also has amazing sessions that are held for free for you to learn about technology. So please be sure to utilize all of these different links, and it could be part of an amazing newsletter that Microsoft has for us. Now, let's bring our amazing speakers back to the stream so they get to say hi to everyone. So let's bring everybody back up. Victoria, Sumilizi, and Nehemiah. Just want to say thank you very much again for being part of this session. Thank you for sharing your ideas and tips with us and for answering all of the questions we had. So, for each of you, I would say, what are your final thoughts for anyone who wants to dive into low code? I'll start off with Nehemiah Emmanuel and then pass it over to every other person, every other speaker on the call.
Okay. So I am a traditional developer. So I guess when we talk about the whole traditional development versus local development, I fall into that sweet spot. But then I have used local development, and I would say it's amazing. It helps to cut down time drastically on what exactly you can do. And the easiest way to get started is by using Microsoft Learn. That was how I also got started, and then continue from there. So yeah, to everyone, if you are just getting started and you think traditional development is too much, which sometimes actually is, local development is just there for you to get started. Thank you, Jafet, for having me, and thank you to all the speakers.
Great. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for sharing that. I'll pass it over to Shedrack this time.
Yeah, Jaflet, I think if you can come again, you went off for a
Okay,
second.
sorry. So for the question, I'm saying what final tips, what final encouragement or ideas you have for everybody who has joined this stream so they can dive into Power Platform or local development space.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. So, whilst we are asking this, I just keep smiling. Just because all I'm going to say is, or the uh, only encouragement I'm going to give to everyone who want to join this power platform or local development is to join communities. Of course, I'm going to repeat that again. They need to join communities. They need to get um, linked to other developers like myself. Just Shadrach Inusa. You will find me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. That's my Twitter handle. Um, Same applies to Victoria and my other colleagues, Similes and everyone here. We are all always available. The advice I can give you or is join the community. Look for any community, any local community, which is Microsoft Power Platform community within your city, or join the online community and then get started also on the Microsoft Learn platform, and you'll be good in no time. Yeah, I just give you 1 year and you'll be good in no time.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much, Shedrack, for sharing that. And by the way, I'd love to mention all of those who are joining us. I can see Bonzo Zion joining us from Ghana. Thank you very much for joining, Zion. I can also see Adebayo Palumi. Thank you very much for joining this stream. Pelumi is saying thank you very much to all of the amazing speakers. And Zion is saying she enjoyed the session. Great speakers. Yes, they are amazing speakers and they want to help you build an amazing career too. I can see Rosendo, who also joined the stream. Thank you very much for joining, Rosendo. Now, back to our earlier question, I'll pass the mic on to Victoria For you, Victoria, what would you love to share with everybody who joined this stream or would watch this video on demand?
All right, so I would like to say if you're still contemplating, you don't know, you've not decided, you're still alternating between two opinions. Should I start? Should I not start? The word for you is to start. Yes, start. And when you take that step, you have the very support of, you have the good support and the absolute support of everyone around you. You just don't know. And secondly, um, you're not an island of your own. You would have to reach out to people when you get stuck. So don't, you might not necessarily have to reach out to people in quotes, but you have to look out for resources. So you don't necessarily, or you wouldn't necessarily solve all the problems yourself. Sometimes you need to do your research. So don't beat yourself so much because you were not able to achieve something on your own. We have the internet and we have AI tools for you to utilize. And aside those AI tools, reach out to people. That's why you have the community. Community is there to support you. Reach out to people and you would get things done. Thank you. And thank you for having me,
Great.
Jaflet.
It's been a pleasure. On your journey. Thank you for sharing that tip with us, Victoria. We'll end up with some amazing.
Yeah, I think Shadrach and Victoria actually said everything as final words, but my final thoughts as well, just to add on to what they said, like Victoria said, just get started. Nothing beats getting started. That's the same thing I relate to. I had my skepticism around Power Platform when I started out with the Power Platform since I was a .NET developer and C Sharp developer. So what I then decided was to just get started and start building solutions. And then out of that, I started becoming a great Power Platform developers and opportunities actually came. So get started, be part of a community, make sure you document everything that you're doing, most especially the projects that you're building, including those solutions, share them within that community, and also make sure. So my last step on the steps that I gave you is to get certified. Just like Victoria had mentioned certifications, make sure you get certified because certifications actually showcase that you really, really know what you're really talking about, most especially when it comes to all of these different technologies that are available at your disposal. And I do encourage you guys to actually get certified and actually showcase that everything that you've learned so far, you are able to apply it, you are able to prove that you know what you're talking about. So I'm hoping that everything
Great.
else will
Thank you
make
very
sense.
much. Cool. Thank you very much, Sobilisi. Thank you, Shadrach. Thank you very much, Victoria, for sticking in the chat section and responding to people's questions and comments. From our end, thank you to everybody who's currently on this stream and who has benefited. Don't forget to utilize all of the amazing points that has been shared from our speakers. And don't forget to join us for the next and amazing Microsoft Reactor session. Enjoy the many parts of your day, everyone. Bye.